we go. There we go.
Line in, record. There we go. All right, guys, this is Jonathan Alexander, Your News Arizona, and I'm here today with David Flippo. And he's running for
U.S. Congress in Nevada's 4th District, absolutely.
So, Dave, you've been down on the borders with us many times.
You know, John, you've taken me down there. You've taken me to the Chilton Ranch to see all the issues that are going on down there. I did it my last campaign. There's so much to do. The cartels that are in control down there and how they're just taking over the ranches, coming through that open border down there near Sansabe.
Right. So one of the things that they're trying to tell us is these borders are secure. What's your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, you know, so we got the borders are shut down, I'll say that, but we have a lot of border wall to still build. And with those holes in the fence that you've showed me down there in Sansabe, until those gets fixed, they're still going to be able to come across. Hopefully we got border patrol down there. I think we're going to go down there maybe this week and you can show me around some more and get the real story, because we got to get the real story out there. If that border is not 100% shut down and if there's still holes in it like we know there are, there's still access.
So I just had a meeting over here at Border Patrol. I called them out on the No More Death Camp. I also called them out about all the illegals still coming through and why that camp was just raided 2 weeks ago and why it's now back open again. And I want answers. And Border Patrol, they seem to be pretty frustrated about the whole matter, and which they ought to be. And my question is why do you think they're still telling us our borders are secure when they're not secure?
Well, I mean, I think as far as Trump's going, he's talking about the illegal immigration. They've shut down those borders. They've gotten those areas that are, Eagle Pass, those things like that. I think those are all shut down. I think the problem is right here in Arizona is you've got all those holes in the fence, and you got the reservations that there is no fence. Right. So there's a lot of, for those that don't know, there is still a lot of fence that needs to be built and a lot of access that can still come into this country right now.
Well, that seems to be the problem that we have is the tribal council does not want the border wall put in place, and we know this. So with that being said, we know they're being funded by the cartel, the tribal council, because the people that live on the reservation want the border wall. I've talked to so many of them, but the tribal council says no. So how do you think we can make a difference here in our country to put a stop to this and to be able to work with the tribe to get them to see eye to eye with us?
I'd say that we got to start with getting the rest of the wall built, and there's going to be challenges. There's going to be challenges for the next 2 years, 3 years, however it is, to get with the tribal areas and get and take over that border. I mean, yes, their border goes right up to the Mexican border, but it's still our country, and so that border wall needs to be finished. It's going to be a challenge, and if that's going to take Congress to be able to do something to get that going, or if it can be the state doing it, something's got to get done, and we need to start working on that.
So I spoke with Mark Lamb on this matter for the No More Death Camp. He's trying to work with me right now on getting that shut down permanently. Those guys have been operating now for over 30 years, Dave. 30 years. They keep raiding them. Border Patrol over here just said they raided them again 2 weeks ago, which I already told you about, which I knew about before that even got released.
Well, remember the last time I was down with you, we were going to go by there and take a look, but there was like a firefight going on at the time, so we weren't going to get close to that. So what you're saying is they keep shutting it down and they keep opening it back up.
Yeah.
And what is it, about 40 miles from the border?
No More Death Camp is not even a 10 mile.
10 miles from the border.
So,
yeah.
So for those of you guys that don't know about the No More Death Camp here in Arizona, that's a human trafficking, drug trafficking camp. It's supposedly humanitarian aid funded, the whole 9 yards. But let's get the truth out, America. That is cartel-based camp. That's where the cartel comes through. They're trafficking their drugs, trafficking women and children through. And this is happening every day, Dave.
Yeah. So, I haven't been down there in a while with you. So are the NGOs still operating down there and have those, tent cities all set up for the water and food? Are they still down there?
Yeah. And what they're doing, Dave, the NGOs are actually crossing over into Mexico, right through, which you and I try to do that without going to a port of entry. They'll lock us up.
Right.
but they're allowing the NGOs to do it here in Arizona. And I think our officials need to be held accountable for it. I think the governor of Arizona, Governor Hobbs, needs to be held accountable because she's also allowing this. She knows this happening.
Well, first step is to get a new governor in here in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
I think you got Andy Biggs going for that.
Yep, and he's got my vote.
I tell you what.
So Dave, if you get elected, what's the first thing you're going to do to try to make a difference for this country? Our problem with the borders, everything.
Well, you know me, John. I'm a military, retired military. I believe in national security and I believe in border security. And we can't get a grasp of the illegal immigration issue until we get that border shut. Once we get that border completely shut, then we can start getting a handle on everything that's going on. So
when you met with me over at Trump International, and I had some meetings over there in Vegas, here, about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So when we had those meetings over there, you know, that was the biggest concern that I brought up in the meetings was the no more death camp, the trafficking, that we've got to shut that down because right now that's the cartel's major chain for supply as they're trafficking. That's where they stop for their food, for their water, and that's why I'd like to see Border Patrol bulldoze that camp. It needs to be totally shut down.
well, when you say they go shut it down, but then it opens up, so they're not going in there and just destroying it.
Nope. So like when they raided it 2 weeks ago, that camp is back open already. I mean, they just went in and arrested a bunch of illegals right there at the camp.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it's back at full operation. And this is what we want to see stopped.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We got to get a handle on the border if we're going to fix the immigration issue. The first step is to shut the border down and get accountability of what we have in this country. The criminal illegals have to go for sure, and then we can start actually passing laws in Congress, or let's try enforcing the laws that we already have on the books.
So for all you guys out there in Nevada, your district covers what territory?
I have a large district, basically the north half of Las Vegas, and it goes all the way up about 6 hours north, almost to Reno. A lot of rurals and a lot of Las Vegas.
So for you guys out there in Nevada, if you want change and if you want someone that's going to help fight for this country, you guys got to vote for David Flippo.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody out there, flippofornevada.com. Go to my website, learn more about me, flippofornevada.com.
I'll say this much, Dave. You're not just a talker. Your boots on the ground with me and my team as well. You've been down there. You want to put your life in harm's way to help get this news out to America. God bless you for that. We appreciate you. And we just got to keep this fight up. Because, one of the things I keep telling my viewing audience, we look at how fast Biden undid everything that President Trump did. He did it in a matter of weeks, allowing tens of thousands of illegals through. If we don't keep this country red, it's going to happen all over again.
Don't you love Trump's comment, though, is like all it took was a new president? Like, I mean, overnight he just shut the border down, and they were trying to pass laws and they were trying to appease and they were trying to, allow a certain number of illegals through. It made no sense. That law made no sense. All we needed was a new president.
100%. All right, guys, we're going to be live here again shortly. Hopefully with Sheriff Mark Lamb. He's going to be coming over as well. And we'll do a broadcast with that. You guys got to vote for David Flippo. And Dave, we'll keep at it, buddy. And I'm right there with you. So appreciate you guys tuning in. God bless you guys.